Painting by Numbers, Episode 1. The current date is October 18th, 2025. I am Drake Swaggo Hodhonis, here with George Whiffy Penguin. How do you say your last name? Ephelis?
Ephelis.
Ephelis. Damn.
Ephelis. Yeah, it's kind of like syphilis,
Nice.
but it's
Okay.
Ephelis.
Yeah. Respect. So, we are two painter servant enthusiasts who play Legacy, and this is our jam. This is what we care deeply about. And, we figured there's not enough content outside of old Bobby Lightwalker doing some videos
True.
and a couple other people doing the occasional video like Romario or Crucible of Words, doing the occasional Painter League. But there isn't nearly enough Painter content on the internet, and we can contribute to this shit because we like Painter and we like talking about Painter, and I can probably talk about this deck for 10 hours with anyone who's willing to listen, so goddamn buckle up.
My kids know how Painter Servant combo works, and they don't even know how Magic cards work.
That's beautiful. That's beautiful. I'm pretty sure my wife does as well, so that's good. So going into this, maybe just a brief introduction on yourself, how you got into Magic, when you got into Magic. Who are you, George Syphilis?
Uh, so I am a 43-year-old guy who started playing Magic when he was 13. Um, the first new set that came out after I started was Mirage, and I got a box of it for Christmas that year, and it pretty much cemented me playing Magic for basically the rest of my life. Uh, I played pretty competitively in the late 90s, from Tempest through Mercadian Mass Block, PTQs, JSSs. I played in North Jersey with a couple of guys who were pretty good. Gerard Fabiano, John Sonny, Craig Premples.
You played with
Um,
GFABs.
I did play with GFABs. Me and him would go to the same weeklies or I guess weekendlies. Gerard was hilarious. He was even funnier in person.
Okay, so do you remember the videos that he put out? Like, it's got to be 15 years ago. Where like, welcome to where everyone's a winner. Do you remember these things? And he was like,
Yes, and then he also had like a blog that was like Gerard Fabiano life facts or something
dude, and
that
there
was
was like a.
also unhinged and hilarious.
There was like a finals of a PTQ, and he's like, "We're here live with Gabe Carlton Barnes against Ben Bubba." Like, it was unbelievable how he got away with the shit that he was doing at the time. It was fantastic, and I think he's just a very charismatic guy, and notoriously building the best worst legacy deck, Team Italia. I thought about that deck like about 3 months ago, and I was like, maybe I play this at a local. And then I played Jund and got like shit stomped. So like, and I'm like, surely the Team Italia deck is worse than Jund. But you know what? Mardu Katz is kind of back in the legacy world. So like, maybe Gerard was like 15 years ahead of his time.
Gerard was ahead of a lot of stuff. And then, everyone takes a break when they play Magic for a long time. I did too, from Invasion block through Kamigawa, and then I came back with on MTGO, and I started playing this format called Classic, which was kind of like Vintage or Legacy, where they started releasing all the old sets to try and catch up with where they were to make Paper Play and Mitgo the same. And I was a big deal in Classic. I played a lot. I was a community member. I got invited to the first modern proto tournament at the Community Cup with Wizards of the Coast. That was pretty sweet. And then I started playing Paper competitive, and they banned my Splinter Twin deck about 3 months after I finished it. And then I played Commander until about 4 years ago. It stung really bad that they banned all the cards I had traded for. Started with Modern and then found Legacy in February of 23. So almost 2 years of playing Legacy and Painter for the majority of it.
So you're like relatively new to the legacy world then, by like the average legacy. The average 43-year-old legacy man is like, I played Grand Prix Chicago in 2005 and I played Threshold. And you're like, I started playing post-COVID.
So like I said, I played the classic format, and playing classic, it did eventually turn into legacy in the really late 2000s, early 20 teens. And I was pretty dialed into legacy back then for about 2 years. I
Okay,
played
yeah, yeah.
a lot of Threshold, but then I didn't look or think about legacy for 10 years almost.
Crazy. So, did you have anything like holdover cards, or were you buying in 2023 prices?
So I worked in a comic book shop during from like 33 to 39 or 40. And in that time, I couldn't play competitive because I was working in retail. So I would draft for free because I was running the store. And unfortunately, instead of getting paid the 3 hours to run the booster draft, I would get paid with the booster draft and get to work at the same time. And then I also got to buy stuff at basically cost, right?
Yeah.
We were buying stuff at 50%. I would get 35% off of what we bought. So I was buying at vendor prices, and I just liquidated almost all of my commander stuff that I had acquired in the 20 teens into the early 2020s. I already had a 1X set of dual lands and some other like really expensive cards because I was pretty into commander. And I didn't need 6 demonic tutors or 5 doubling seasons. And I did enjoy finishing off play sets of City of Traders. And I have 18 dual lands now. I can build almost any legacy deck in the format. I just finished getting Lion's Eye Diamonds this year at Eternal Weekend, selling off almost the end of my commander stash.
Okay, right on. So, yeah, you've had lots and lots of stuff. You've been around forever. You've been playing Magic forever. So, all right, sweet. I'll go over a little bit of my history. I played a bit as a kid in like Mercadian Masks Onslaught block, like those two blocks primarily, and then didn't really ever have money outside of like buying a random booster box and shit, or booster pack and shit here and there. And came back to the game later on in life. Lorwyn block, Shards of Alara block, 2008, 2009. And I played,
Love Lorwyn
dude,
block
the
so
best.
much.
I'm excited for the return, but I'm also not because I'm wondering how WotC is just gonna completely squander this. But again,
Yeah,
that's
I,
just
I
my
told you I was heavy. I was heavy in Mitgo, and Lorwyn, I broke top 100 booster drafters during that set. It was great.
fantastic limited set too, right? So like whole
Yeah,
limited
amazing.
block, unbelievable, good standard set too, right? So like I started in the same way that like everyone does. You get into standard because that's what you did back then, and like modern wasn't a format. There was standard, and then you played legacy or you played like vintage. Extended was legacy more or less.
Ex-
No, nobody played
Extended
extended.
Extended existed, but they only played it at the Grand Prix circuit.
Yeah, and like it was a really cool format, and I like that the blueprint for like early modern was very much extended, but then they banned everything that was cool. Like they banned like Thopter Sword, they banned like Dark Depths combos, they banned all the stuff that like and I get it, you have to ban that shit, but yeah, it was a shift towards like I played Grand Prix Toronto 2010, and I borrowed a black green. It's called like a Ava Green deck, and it was like just like black green
Uh-huh.
suicide, like 4 Dark Rits, 4 Hymn to Turox, 4 Hypnotic Specters. It was just like a straight black green, all Thoughtseize, blah 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 blah. And I think I like 4-0'd a side event and was like, this is my calling. This is the coolest format in the world. I played against like a 4-color countertop deck. I played against Belcher. I played against the Mirror Match for some crazy reason, and then like a weird like D&T before it was D&T. Like it was always kind of D&T, but like they're like Mangara bouncing, like Thalia wasn't legal, that sort of stuff. So I was playing for pretty much from like 2010 on. I was like, Legacy is what I want to be doing, and I just started grinding. I was making $8 an hour, and I bought Tropical Islands at $40, and Underground Seas they were 45. Or sorry, I guess it was like Trops were like 35, Volcanics are 40, Underground Seas are 45 in 2010. The Canadian
And that's
dollar,
Canadian, so
no, yeah, but the Canadian dollar was like fucking trumping. Yeah, no pun intended. It was trouncing you American dollar. It was like 120 instead of like the 68 cents that we have now. So like I was
Okay.
buying a lot of cards out of the States because it was just a whole lot cheaper. And just played as much Legacy as possible in Southern Ontario as a kid. And, I kind of took a break from like 2018 to like 2022. And now I'm back and just playing as much as I can. And, I get to play weeklies every single Sunday. And then every second or third Friday will be like a Legacy F&M. And so, yeah, this is all out of North Bay, Ontario. So it's good. There's a good scene. There's like maybe anywhere from like 8 to 16, maybe 18 people that show up on the regular. So there's always a good diversity, but a lot of combo players. And that's, it's hard to get new players into a game when you have nothing but combo players. Like, a new player shows up to
That's his,
Legacy and they're going to get like sneak attacked for like 3 rounds in a row. They're probably not coming out to Legacy again.
so our locals. I live north of Philadelphia, and our Friday Night Magic is 4 rounds, which is awesome. And we average about 16 people. Our low is 10 and our high is 22, 24, something like that. But it's about 16, 18 people we get on the average. And it is not very combo focused. There's a lot of Death and Taxes. There's a lot of Painter. We get new people in all the time. They are porting over their Overlord of the Baelmerk's modern decks, and they're doing fine because it's not like super degenerate. We don't have Reanimator running around. One guy wanted to try to learn how to play Oops All Spells for Eternal Weekend and sold the deck afterwards because nobody would let him test in the blind against it.
Yeah, fair enough. Fair enough. So yeah, we're kind of in the opposite. Everyone up here loves their combo decks, and it's it's kind of tough. And again, I say loves their combo decks as we're talking about the Painter Servant Grindstone combo deck, but Painter doesn't really play like a
Look,
traditional combo deck, and we'll get to that later as
Painter
yeah.
Painter is the most fair, not fair deck that exists.
100%. I 1,000% agree. So you've been playing Painter since 2023, basically, right?
Almost 2 years now.
Okay, so briefly, when I picked up those duels in 2010, I'll show you. So this is you probably can't see my screen, George. I don't know. This is just some like classic Legacy deck lists. I remember playing something very similar to this, but it's funny how bad deck building was in 2011. Like Ponder was legal as a 4 of, and nobody played 4 Ponder. This is like
No.
this is a 2024 deck. I was playing something similar to this, or more like I played like a Thopter Sword deck, which is kind of cool. It's got like Enlightened Tutor, Painter Servant, and Grindstone, but it's primarily like a counterbalance top deck that just has like random things. I remember playing a deck like this at one point, but I don't think I was playing 3 Ponder. I was probably playing like Thirst for Knowledge and a bunch of crappy artifact lands because wow, what a combo, drawing cards. And like Legacy was just a totally different format at that point, right? It's not pod racing. It's like, how do I get incremental advantage and win 8 turns later? So
Yeah, when I started playing Legacy, Grief Scam Reanimator had just started to become popular.
okay, yeah, fair enough. Something like
It was
this,
all pod racing.
and like that's the natural progression for Legacy as a format, right? As they print more and more busted shit, it's the way that the format's gonna go, and you kind of just have to like accept that. But luckily, Painter can hang with that stuff. Painter does a really, really,
I
really
do.
good job at just like hanging out with all the unfair things while also having a relatively good main deck game plan versus the high end of the format. So, like, go ahead.
I feel like Painter can win against anything except for the turn 1 Storm Send.
Yeah, no, exactly, right? I find that Oops is not the best matchup, but it's one of those things where like I'd still play it and be like, okay, it could be worse. It could be like, before the prison deck, it could be like Sneak Show or something that's like actually heinous. But now
Uh-huh.
I think that the prison deck actually fills a lot of the holes that the deck had. So, you played during Grief Reanimate time. You played during Psychic Frog time where Ari Lax last year made top 8, or he made top 4.
Oh,
He made top 4 with his.
Ari
Go for it.
Ari Lax gave me my first loss in Eternal Weekend that year in round 8.
Oh no, he played
Yeah,
the
in the
deck
Painter Mirror.
incredibly well though. He doesn't really make
He
mistakes. Right?
did. No, he did. He played it really well, and I really thought I had it. I opened up the turn two win in game three, and he blew me out with the Goblin Welder, Goblin Defiler, Engineer Defiler line.
Ah, yeah, that one's rough. That one is very rough. So the deck was really good. Oh, you're frozen. I don't know what that's about. So the deck itself is, it was really good during the Psychic Frog era. Painter at one point went up to about 8% of the metagame, and from there, put a copy into the top eight.
Blew up my painter, and then I could not win.
Oh, you just lagged out there, my friend.
You there?
Yeah,
I did just flag it out there.
completely. Anyway, just moving on here. Painter. So during that time, Painter moved up to about 8% of the metagame. During Psychic Frog's heyday, he had a fantastic blue-black reanimator matchup. It was really good. Obviously, the deck was playing 6 or more blasts, so you didn't have to worry about Tamiyo or Psychic Frog. And it was just well positioned, and it put a pilot into the top 4, and it put one or two other players, I think, into the top 16, top 32, and a couple other people had some money finishes, so that's good.
Yeah, I came in 48th place.
48th. There you go. What was your record that year?
Pretty good. 8-3.
Right, because they were they were doing 11 rounds in one day. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a fucking marathon for sure. Like that's a
it sure
lot
was.
of magic. Yeah, you were playing the stompy version though with the One Ring and Pyrogoyf, and that version is
a
little bit easier to pilot over 11 rounds in one day. But I remember like Eternal Weekend this year was by the 9th round I was like, all right, I'm pretty done playing Magic.
I lost round 15. Spoiler alert for later, but if I had been fresher, there's no universe I would have lost that game.
Fair enough. So the last year, obviously, some things have been banned. Trollic Hazardum has been banned. Sowing Mycospawn has been banned, which unfortunately makes our best matchup go from like a 8 or 9% metagame deck down to like a 2 or 3% metagame deck. But at the same time, that card is also bullshit, and nobody wants to actually play against it. So fuck it. It's like it's a net positive for the format. But let's talk about the 4 or 5 different like main ways that you can play Painter. So we'll start with like the Agatha Soul Cauldron builds. So there's 2 different styles. One has Devourer and the other doesn't. George, have you played these?
I have. I've played almost every version of Painter that's popped up over the last 2 years. I think that the one without Chaos Defiler is just running 2 Soul Cauldrons. And then I feel like that's the stock version of Painter.
Is no Defiler.
I'm
Devourer.
sorry. Devourer. No Devourer. I feel like that would be the stock version. Something like Uberdub. Uberdub.
Who's a dubstep musician, by the way, if you didn't know that.
I did not. Amazing.
Yeah. Uberdub. Uber. Yeah. Go look at Uber on Spotify.
Yeah, his was the deck list that I was going to play before I found Cannikins. I even have it on my Mox field as Edge of Eternity stock Painter. It's good. I'm not a fan of Agatha's Soul Cauldron, and I hate Phyrexian Devourer. I think the card is very bad. I think the combo is another A+B artifact graveyard based combo that is just not playing into the deck strengths and is just pigeonholing it into a deeper weakness. So I'm not a fan.
And playing yet another shitty card that is glued to either the top of your deck when it matters or your opening hand. And you're just like, damn it, I'm on a mold of 6.
Yes. Unlike Phyrexian Dragon Engine, though, you can actually play that card and then start the grinding. You cannot play Phyrexian Devourer.
Yeah, I've done it, or I've like welded it out once or twice, just for like value, and it's like not very good. But I kind of agree.
It's a blank.
Yeah, I kind of agree with those points. But every single person I talk to Kemper Pogue finished 16th this year. He played a Devourer. He said he was devouring people left, right, and center. While I was defiling people left, right, and center, he was devouring them.
That could be my metagame too. My local metagame is very creature and combat centric.
Okay, yeah, fair enough. And like, especially like, you'll never get an attack in again. Like, it's an onboard thing, right? Like, it's one of those things that like no good player who has blockers isn't gonna hold up a blocker. You know?
Let me tell you though, there are some good players who did not know what that combo was over the last year who got completely gotten because they had no idea what was happening.
Interesting. Yeah, I think it's like a surprise gotcha, I guess. But again, it's like, so
The first time.
yeah, I like the value Agatha Soul Cauldron on these builds. Like, I like just having two. I think three is a little too much. Like, they're legendary. They, whatever cards you exile with one goes away. Do you know what I mean? Like,
Yeah, they don't stack
they
well.
they don't stack. It's not like Dothy Voidwalker where like it's under with a void counter. The second Dothy is gonna cast the bolt that killed. You know, like you don't have any of those games.
Yeah, that's not the legendary artifact that you should be playing 3 copies of. It's the One Ring.
Maybe I'm kind of a One Ring hater just because I think that card is so lame. But that being said, the Agatha Soul Cauldron builds, it's like tried and true, right? Like it's old reliable, you know. It's
Yeah.
there's a joke to be made here, but we don't stoop to that level on the painting by numbers cast. Not in episode 1. That's an episode 3 sort of joke.
Yeah, after we've got you invested.
Yeah, exactly. So, these lists, you know, the Rakdos painter, again, we're looking at Kemper Pogue, his list, 16th place. You know, a lot of the lists are playing one Pithing Needle main. I think that's almost mandatory. You need to be able to name Nomad's Encore in the Breakfast matchup. You need to be able to name Karn or the One Ring in the Mystic Forge matchup. You need to be able to
Tezzeret.
name yeah, exactly, or Flip Side of Tameo in the Reanimator matchup. Almost every single deck right now that is in the tier 1 or tier 0, depending on what you're looking at, has one or two key cards that will just body you if they activate abilities. And so
And the format is so prevalent with Wasteland on the tempo strategies that the forward thinking Pithing Needle on Wasteland just to make sure that you don't get interrupted.
yeah, 100%, right? And then your next saga is even better. And yeah, it's 100%. Even, yeah, I look at like the Is It Cutter decks. The ones that I'm actually afraid of are the ones that play Delver, by the way. Yeah, they can do Tameo bullshit all day, and I don't really care. Eventually, you're like, yeah, I'll blast it when it's at like 6 loyalty or whatever. But the ones that actually clock you are the Delver ones, and I'm worried about that. And yeah, I preemptively have to name Pithing Needle on Wasteland all the time. So Kemper's list, we got Uberdub's list. That's like the standard Agatha Soul Cauldron stuff.
Yeah, they're very similar, right? They're like maybe 2 or 3 cards.
2 or 3
different.
cards off. Yep, exactly. But so like that's like the gold standard, I would say. It's pretty common. It's putting up results, continues to put up results. Now the next build from the boy himself. He's not a boy, he's a man. Who am I kidding? I'll put some respect on the name. Jack Kitchen. Red White Shortcake. Have you ever played Shortcake?
I have not actually played Shortcake. When I built my first painter deck, it was red white, but it had swords and fourth Aer Lingus. It did not have the Enlightened Tutor package.
You were doing like the Mr. Fringe 89 thing.
I was doing the Mr. Fringe 89 thing. I've sleeved up Shortcake. I have goldfished it. I have all the cards for it. But I've actually never played this kind, like this 75 with Enlightened Tutor. I've played every single one of these cards in my deck before, just not in this combination.
Okay. Yeah. So Shortcake is an interesting one. It's really hard to argue that, you know, the deck is bad. A lot of people like to think it's bad. It's like the last bastion for Enlightened Tutor. If you're going to play Enlightened Tutor in any format other than pre-modern and Commander, like
the problem that I have with Shortcake is that it's not playing the best card in Painter.
If you say the One Ring, I'm booting you from this.
No.
Oh, okay.
Fable of the Mirror Breaker.
Okay. Yeah, fair enough. You actually think that that's the best card in Painter?
I honestly do. Pound for pound, I think it is the strongest card in the deck.
What do you say to the haters who say things like, it's so slow?
It is slow, and that is a symptom of the format and not the card itself. But it is slow. You can't say that it's not. When your opponents are trying to kill you on turn two with Karn Forge and Atraxa or Archon, or turn three with Nadu, your Fable, unless you turn one, it is not doing it.
I agree. Yeah. I've had that exact experience where you play Fable on turn 2 and you're like, oh shit, I'm dead.
It's still the best card in the deck, but the format needs to give you the time to utilize it.
Yeah, fair enough, fair enough. In any match where you do get to do everything, where you get to go through the whole, all three modes, get it flipped over, maybe copy a creature, you're like, how can I lose?
You can't.
Yeah, so fair enough. I do, again, I played 4 at Eternal Weekend. I thought that they were fantastic all day. But Shortcake, any comments on this thing? Do you like it? Do you hate it?
I do like it. I love the ability to enlighten tutor for a blood moon on turn two.
Yeah.
Like this deck looks a lot like what we played, just a little bit less sturdy.
Okay, yeah, fair enough. I also really like, when I played Shortcake, one of the best things that the deck can do is actually Enlighten Tutor for Urza Saga against all of the Tundra decks. Tundra has such a hard time beating Urza Saga, and like unless it's like game 2 and they actually have like things like Dress Down and other shit. Game
Rakdos
1,
guy.
yeah, exactly. Game 1, you're just like, yeah, man, it's gonna be the third Urza Saga that gets you. Like, it's unbelievably good. So I really like Shortcake. I think it's good. I think Jack Kitchen is a master pilot. I got to bird 1 or 2 of his games, and I wouldn't have taken a line or 2 that he would have taken, and it panned out for him. I think he finished 5-4. But again,
I think so too.
it's one of those things where it's hard to argue results. Like every time I look at his decks, I'm just like, okay, I get it. I can understand why he's playing it, and maybe the matchups just didn't line up. And the guy is like the most winning at major events painter player like of all time. Like I think he has like multiple Eternal Weekend top 8s, both online and in paper. He's won a bunch of SCG shit. Guy's a monster. So I don't know. I can respect Shortcake. I like the way that the deck plays, and it's one of those decks that you're truly not out until you're out. You know, like you can just win. You can be like, man, I'm losing. Painter Servant. Holy shit, I win. And I like that aspect of it.
Yeah, especially a deck with Lion's Eye Diamond. Oh, they wastelanded me out of the game. I have no mana. Oh, there's the combo.
Exactly. So, okay, next up then. Speaking of Lion's Eye Diamond, what do you think of the old Bobby Lightwalker's list here? This Turbo Painter list. So, just to give you,
I love it.
It's so pure. Like
the only problem is the Imperial Recruiters. I told Bobby that I didn't like them, but otherwise, I love the triple LED deck.
This list that he 5-0'd with on August 28th, there's no Imperial Recruiter in it. There's 4 LED,
nice.
4 Blast, 4 Red Elemental Blast, 4 Petal, 4 Grindstone, 4 Painter's Servant, 4 Monkey, 4 and 4 on Soul Lands. Like, this is like I'm not fucking around. I'm going for the turn 2. Maybe I'll reload and get you on turn 3. I like it. I think it's good. I think it's really good. This was actually my contender for Eternal Weekend if the Can list didn't really break the format wide open. And I think that George is froze again, and I don't know what's going on, so he may come back and just be chatting it up. But I do like this list. I like Bobby's list a lot. I think it's really good. I played it. I had a couple 4-1s. Oh, there you go. He's back. You've lagged out again.
I'm back. Yeah, I did lag out again. I played that deck at locals for 2 weeks, and it was awesome. I turned 2 to a lot of people.
It's very good at turn 2ing with backup too. Like, insane. Have you ever looked at those like oops calculators where like if you're playing like it's like 31% of the time they will turn 1 you, And then of that, like 8% of the time they'll turn 1U with Pact of Negation back up, and then 8% of the time they'll turn 1U with Thoughtseize back up.
I've heard of it. I've not like looked into it.
Okay, cool.
No.
This is very similar in how it feels, you know? So I think that deck is
Yeah.
sweet too. Now there's some other interesting things. Chris Sarunian, he finished top 32 at Eternal Weekend. He's playing a really cool like Pinnacle Emissary Thoughtcast. It's like a blue painter deck, but it also has like
Oh, is it? It's purple. It's purple painter.
purple painter. Yeah, yeah. I think that deck is cool
Purple
too.
painter.
Um,
Uh, I've been trying to get Helix or Pinnacle Emissaries from my LGS.
mhm.
Because I don't like to order cards online. It's too easy. What's the point?
Yeah, fair enough. Fair enough. I think that this deck is cool. Um, I like having like cards like Kappa Cannoneer as just like this ultimate backup where you're like, okay, things aren't going my way. Can you deal with an 8/8 Ward 4? Like, it's I think it's good. I probably wouldn't play it though, just on the principle of it's not red painter.
I tried Blue Painter and I tried Blue Red Wizard Painter, and the deck sucked. I'm sorry for all the blue stands, but it is nowhere near as good as Red Painter. The having Force of Will to not die to the turn two combo isn't worth losing to everything else.
Yeah, yeah. No, that's kind of how I feel too. And also playing a bunch of like baubles and other bullshit where your deck is just all air, but you also lose
It's all
harder to
air.
Chalice than you already kind of do. Like,
And Chalice is like at an all-time high over the last year right now.
yeah, exactly. I'm just gonna jam, what is there? There's 9, 13 1-drops. There's 13 0-drops in my painter deck and just lose to
Mhm.
Chalice for 0. Nah, get fucked. That's insane.
Let me tell you though, turn one Pinnacle and then you make four or five guys and artifacts and turn one Kappa. It sounds like an amazing
Yeah,
drug.
it's pretty cool, and I do like that aspect. The only time that I've ever played against the Pinnacle decks seriously, I was always playing lands, and I'm just like, how do I win this? Like, they make infinite blockers from Aerial Age. I'm like, I'm so dead.
Mhm.
I'm so dead. So this deck is cool. I probably would never play it over Red Painter at any serious tournament, but you know what? Chris Sarunian, you did the thing, and you did better than me and George, and, you know, hats off to you.
I mean, there's results speak for themselves, right?
Yep. The last painter player in the top 64, Eric Farmer. I think he was on coverage in like round 7 or something. He had a pretty blinged out painter deck. He's playing the very standard painter, 2 Blood Moon main, 3 Soul Cauldron, 1 Devourer, 1 Defiler. And he's playing Arena of Glory. Where do you feel, or where do you stand on Arena of Glory?
Um, it's really tough, right? Because how many times have you opened up your hand and it is literally Arena of Glory, Ancient Tomb, and you can't play any spells for 3 turns? Um, or why am I jumping through hoops when I have main deck Blood Moons or Magus of the Moon?
And that is ultimately what I kind of settled on too. Is like I'm doing this thing, but I was a Blood Moon main for the longest time. I had like just a notepad on my computer desk, and when I would play leagues on Moto, I had one snow-covered mountain that was my like test Arena of Glory. And when I stopped counting for Arena of Glory, it was 22 times it would have been better as a snow-covered mountain, which it was, and then 13 times it was better as an Arena of Glory. And so I'm like, well, there's some, quantitative numbers for you. Like,
I didn't log it, but I came to the same conclusion.
it's like, it's pretty, in like when it's good, oh boy, it's good. But like, do you need the haste right then and there? Is it winning so many games that it's worth just like getting wastelanded or whatever it be? Like, you already play Great Furnace. That's already miserable when you get your Great Furnaces wastelanded, right?
Yeah, and I mean the arena is also contextual, right? If you are playing a more mid-rangey version with Pyroglyphs and Fury's main deck, it has a lot more application than just the
100%. Yep.
goblins.
Yep. I agree with that. So, last couple lists here. Yeah, that's pretty much it. There's 4 or 5 good ways to build Painter. You can kind of do what you want, and it'll all be reasonable. You're playing the same core cards no matter what. I don't think any deck doesn't have like a Soul Guide Lantern, and like everyone's playing the same mana base minus 1 or 2 different cards. Everyone's on the 8 Goblin package. 4 Painter Servant, obviously. Defiler is here to stay. Like that card wins so many matchups. It's just kind of like how much you're playing around with fast mana and then your flex slots. So like, do you play the Mox Opal? Do you not? Are you playing bolts? Are you playing more blasts? Yada, yada, yada. But I think that like for the most part, any way that you can register the deck is pretty reasonable. And like outside of not, here's my big Painter gripe here, looking at these fucking lists with Ensnaring Bridge and they play like a 3-3 split. I'm like, you are going to lose to monks. And you are going to be pissed, and you can't man.
Yeah, but they're Red Blaster beta or foreign black border, so they're sweet, right?
Yeah, I guess so. But damn, I'll take winning over having sweet cards. Ironic, like I get to do both, so like that's pretty cool.
Yeah,
right?
yeah. Getting a bunch of stuff signed made my deck even sweeter this year.
There you go. So prepping for Eternal Weekend here. What was your process? You and I were both abandoning ship. About a month and a half before Eternal Weekend, I was gonna play lands because I looked at the MTG Deck's legacy spread of all of the matchups. Like they have the matchup matrix, and I'm like,
I looked at the exact same list.
Oh, lands has the exact same good matchups as Painter, and then shores up half the bad matchups than Painter does. So why the fuck am I going to play Painter? And then I talked myself into playing lands. I got grilled in the Discord, the Painter Discord. I got branded a traitor. My brand a noob brand. The list goes on and on and on. And I got grilled by Bobby, which rightfully so, and ultimately came back to the can list when the time came. But walk me through. You were going to play Nadu, and you had the glorious Michael Mapson of the Eternal Witness podcast telling you that you should just play Nadu, which shout out to Mapson and Mark, because that's a monster podcast and is actually one of my favorite legacy podcasts right now. So walk me through your process, walk me through you switching to Nadu and then coming back to the right side of history here.
So, I play every week at F&M, or I try to. It's usually 49 times a year I get to play Magic on a Friday night.
That's beautiful, by the way.
It is. That's the only time that I get out, though. The rest of the week I'm being a dad, father, employee. But Friday nights I get to be a 20-year-old bachelor again. It's awesome.
Hell yeah.
But I ingest a lot of legacy content. Bosch and Roll, Craven U, Crucible of Words, Eco Baronin. I ingest a lot. I listen to podcasts. I watch videos at work when I can multitask. And the problem is Karnforge is miserable for the Painter deck. My LGS has 3 Karnforge players that are there like every week. So I had been playing a lot of different versions of Painter. Edge of Eternities came out. I went really hard on Melded Moxite. I went really hard on Tezzeret. Tezzeret sucks for Red Painter. I knew it going in, but I tested it and it sucks. Melded Moxite is amazing. Love that card. Came around on it pretty high.
I'm also a big fan. Yeah.
And then Mapson sends me the spreadsheet and he's like, George, what are you doing? Just play Nadu. Don't you want to like do well at Eternal Weekend? I was like, Mapson, I want to do well with Painter. And I said, you know what? Fuck it. Mapson is a much better Magic card player than I am. He's on this. He's like been doing this for a year. This is what he wants. He believes in Brady Monroe. Also used to play at my LGS before he got a job in Maryland. And now he's over crushing the DMV with his Nadu deck. So I built it. I played it at 3 F&Ms, and I did progressively worse at each week, where I went 3-0, split with myself. Then I went 3-1. Then I went 2-2. But the deck was undeniably powerful. And I messaged one of my other friends. I was like, this is amazing. It feels like I've been playing Painter, and it's like wearing the heavy clothes that Goku drops and then kicks Vegeta's ass. And that's what it felt like playing with Natu.
You know what's funny is Ben, the painter of grindstones himself, actually had a tweet today or like a day or two ago where he's like, "Holy shit! I just cast Brainstorm and Ponder. Have I been playing Legacy on hard mode all along?" And I'm like, "Yeah, you have, man. You have absolutely."
So I was thinking about it, and then I also was in the back of my head, I have like the idea to get 20 cards for Painter signed. Is there any universe that I'm not going to actually play with these signed cards? I play Painter 40 times a year. Am I really going to play Nadu at the Super Bowl instead of Painter? And then Kanakin drops a tweet with his prison list, and I put it in the Discord, and it was kind of like a cold reception. I actually think that you responded to my Discord message and you're like, oh, yeah, look at that matchup spread. Blue white control times two, and then these other two easy
I
matchups.
literally said that. I'm like, two Tundra decks and some other bullshit that's like an 80-20 for Painter. Surely, I think I said, if I got these matchups all the time, I would always 5-0 or 4-0 or 4-1 or whatever.
Yeah, you said something to that effect. And I was like, okay, whatever.
Just some
And
like dickhead
um,
comment. Yeah.
I was like, but true too, right? True too. And then about a week or two later, I ended up putting it into Discord. I messaged Kanakin on Twitter. I had messaged him last year because I played his deck last year at Eternal Weekend. Last year, Japanese EW was before North America, and I'm pretty sure, top 64'd with this list. I made a couple of slight tweaks, and then I top 50'd with it, and it was amazing. So I reached out to him and I asked him about the list, asked him about the sideboard. He told me he was a little worried about the Moon Stompy matchup, that we couldn't get the bridges low enough to stop Bombardiers and
It's all
other
those red
2/2s from
elemental
ruining my
blasts
deck.
stuck in your hand, right?
All those red elemental blasts stuck in your hand. And so I put it into Discord, into Moxfield, and I put it into Discord, and I called it Prison Painter, right? I don't think that Kanakin had called it that, but I was like, here's Prison Painter. And then for whatever reason, people were interested in it this time, and then started being like, oh yeah, just 5-0 to League. I 4-1. I just crushed my LGS. I just did this. And then I
You
played it
had
at
fucking
FNM the week.
Noodle Boy get
Noodle
4
Boy.
trophies in a day. Like,
And so I sleeved it up for FNM, like, all right, maybe this is the real deal. 2-2 almost assuredly was closer to a 1-3, but I got lucky and it made a 2-2.
so I also
Uh,
sleeved it up for FNM and I immediately went 4-0. And I played against
and you
like
went 4-0,
and
yeah.
like I played against Sneak Show twice, Lands, and another shit matchup, and just like 4-0 clean. Like it was like 4-0, and then like I think I played like 9 games total or something.
Yeah, so I took all of the feedback from the Discord, and then I looked at your list, and you had changed the list up from Canakin a little bit. You added Simian Spirit Guides, which I thought were necessary, and I was like, you know
I
what?
agree. I could not do what I did at Eternal Weekend without Simeon Spirit Guide. That card was instrumental in turn 1 blood mooning people, or just like paying for days or monkey blasting. It's like it's
Monkey
mandatory.
Blast.
Yeah.
Yeah, Simian Spirit Guide was very good over the weekend for me too. But I was like, all right, I'm gonna copy your main deck, Swagahad. You like just crushed 3 bad matchups in like a whatever, maybe 50-50 matchup. And then these other guys are playing essentially the same deck. They have 2 Blood Moons. They're wrong. I want to play 3. Uh, and so I copied your main deck. And then the week before Eternal Weekend, Saturday before, I spread out my deck and I pulled up MTG Goldfish top 16, and I spent like 2 hours going through the top 16 deck lists and writing out my ideas as a sideboard guide. Shared it with the Discord. We chatted. I edited a little bit, shared with the Discord, chatted, edited it a little bit, and then I think I was locked in with my choices on Thursday night, I think, is when I locked it in. After meeting you in person, playing in the last chance or first chance qualifier, getting some practice against actual Eternal Weekend decks.
Yeah. So originally you were on Lattice, which I hate fundamentally. One, it's broken online. It doesn't work with Painter Servant. And two,
Yeah.
and Steel Wrecking Ball, which I hate because I'm a Universes Beyond hater. And so mine is all crossed out and like sharpied and it looks like shit and it's intentional. I hate Universes Beyond. So I was playing 2 Fiery Confluence. We have the same main deck. Photos up on the screen right now. Fiery Confluence was good in theory, and it seems like one of those things where if you want to beat the Red Prison matchup, one of the best ways is blow up all of their mana and kill their whole board. It doesn't deal with the One Ring, but, what does? And so, ultimately, I said, if you beat me round 1 of the first chance qualifier on Thursday, I will play your 75, and I got just fucking trounced. So I'm locked in on my 75. And I played a 3rd Disruptor Flute and a Lattice, which I never used across 15 rounds. But the Kaneken list...
I never used the Wrecking Ball, and I
Yep.
heard that you used it very well.
I used it very well. We'll go through our tournament and how it went. Just like we'll both take like 10 minutes and kind of just go through the matchups. I don't really have like notes, but I know that you like were posting to Facebook as the thing was going, so you have more detailed notes than me. I just kind of remember matchups. I remember I'm going to be like, round 1, Blood Moon good. Sky is blue. Sky is blue because of Painter Servant. Everything is blue. So, yeah, anyway, we mapped things out. We disagreed on some things too, which is that's good. It's part of the learning process. One of the things that I didn't believe was during the sneak attack matchup, you should board out Chaos Defiler because it gives you more theoretical looks at Chaos Defiler if you resolve a Karn. And I can see it. I can see both. I'm still not doing it. I think you're wrong, but like to each their own, right?
That's fair.
Like to each their own. Somebody, somebody who wins more than me, tell me I'm wrong, and I'll, be happy to be.
I don't think either of us actually ended up playing against Sneak and Show either, did we?
No, I just play it every single week of my life. I actually have a bounty right now. We're in like a group chat it's called Victims of Release the Ants. And there's a guy who's trying to get a bounty right now. His name's Kieran McDuff. He top 32 at Eternal Weekend playing the JPA 93 Sneak Show with like Rug in like 3 main deck Veil of Summers. So he got his top 32 promo. He did well. But he's trying to kill me with Release the Ants right now. And so I kind of just, I'm in limbo land. I'm paranoia land. I'm trying to Disruptor Flute on Release the Ants instead of Show and Tell. So that he has to pay 3 for each copy, and he can't just kill me, right?
Well, that's why you play the Void Mirror, right? Oh, no, it's a copy. It's not a cast.
Exactly. Yeah, exactly. So, anyway, we settled on the same list. Going into the actual Eternal Weekend tournament, Nadu was number 1, Reanimator was number 1, Mystic Forge were number 1, and then you kind of had like a smattering of other decks that, by having main deck Blood Moon, having 3 main deck Karn, having 3 main deck Ensnaring Bridge, you can kind of shore up everything. But the important thing is there is a clock equity issue in current Legacy right now where both Nadu and Mystic Forge take up so much time on the clock that it's really problematic. Because they're not slow playing. They're taking enough game actions to the point where everything is fine in theory, but based on how Magic should work. But if we get a 50-minute round, you should have 25 minutes to think. I should have 25 minutes to think. We should both share this approximately 25-minute clock timer. That is not the case in current Legacy. If your opponent is on Nadu, they are going to be taking up 30 minutes or more when they're comboing with the mid-range deck, unless you concede to them, but you make them show you their deck. Same thing with Mystic Forge. The tapping and untapping and keys and this and that and drawing cards off the ring and Kozilek's commanding when they have One Ring protection, which every fucking Mystic Forge player does. God, lose my mind. Had to call judges 3 times on the weekend for this shit. That stuff, it all just takes up time, and there's a huge clock equity issue. So the important thing when you're beating these decks is you need 2 lock pieces. 2 is the key. So against Cephalid Breakfast, You have Soul Guide Lantern stops them from comboing. You also need a redundant piece of hate, like Fairy Macabre or something, to stop them from memory churning.
Or your disruptor flutes or pithing
Exactly.
needle.
Yep. Pithing Needle. Pithing Needle is almost always on Nomads first, and then
Mhm.
Disruptor Flute secondary copy. I named Serenity at one point, and my opponent's like, I had Serenity, and I would have blown you out. And I was like,
Oh,
yeah, well, damn, I'm good
but
at this game.
I'm good and handsome at this game, so stop.
Exactly. Yeah. Yeah. I'm blushing. Uh, so yeah, you just have like you need two pieces for everything. Blood Moon, very good versus Breakfast, as well as some Graveyard Hate and some like needle effects. Karn and Blood Moon in tandem will beat Mystic Forge. Blood Moon and Ensnaring Bridge will beat Blue Black Reanimator. Blood Moon and Ensnaring Bridge will also beat all the Cutter deck. Or it's not Cutter, Tempo decks. And like
Mhm.
Blood Moon's even fine game one against like Is It Cutter? If they can't cantrip because they like just greedy fetching whatever. Like again, it worked out in my favor. So the way that the deck is configured, it really beats up on these 4 out of 5 decks. You beat Mono Red Stompy, and I've kicked the shit out of Mono Red Stompy with this prison list too. But I think I also just drew well, and Karn is really good in that matchup. So anyway,
I played against Mono Red Stompy 3 times and I 2-1 them. So
did it feel bad?
uh it felt too close. And the Moon Stompy that I lost to was my round 15 opponent where I played very poorly. That I look back at it, I even knew I was playing poorly as I was doing it, but it is what it is.
Isn't that the worst when you have like an outer body experience and you're just like, don't pyroblast this shit. Don't do it, man. Don't. And then you do it and you're like, oh man, come on.
Yeah, I'll talk about it a little bit in the recap, but it
Perfect.
was wild that I saw myself just playing poorly.
Yeah, dude. I've been there so many times. So do you want
But
to?
yeah, that I almost 3-0'd it. I almost 3-0'd the archetype.
Okay, there you go. I think I'm like 3-0 against it, and I played against it in a side event as well later, and
Okay.
locals and on Magic Online a couple times, and I'm batting 1,000 in that matchup. But I can see how it would be bad. I don't think the deck ever beats like a double Bombardier start, but like what deck in Legacy does, you know?
Just the fast combo ones.
Yeah, just like Oops and like maybe Reanimator still probably loses to that shit. All right, you've cut out again. So what I'm going to do when George gets back, he can run through his tournament recap. And he's going to go over just 15 rounds, take maybe 10 minutes to do that. Then I'll talk about my tournament. I finished 10-5. And then we'll talk about some of the stats from the event.
I don't know.
All right, you're back. Hold on. The whole thing.
I'm back.
He's back. Okay. So do you want to go through your tournament and how it went kind of round by round?
Yeah. So on Thursday, I played the first chance qualifier. I was not going to. You were like, dude, do it. It's free. What do you have to lose? You can sell cards later. Actually, it was 1,000 IQ play because I made my friend sit down for 3 hours and sell cards instead.
And you crushed me.
And I crushed you. So I played against you in like the 72, 73 card mirror match. I don't really have notes from the qualifiers, but I remember it not being very close.
Yeah, very nice. Thank you.
Um, I 2-0'd Doomsday, and then I 2-0'd Moon Stompy, and then I'm getting my Pyroblast signed by Kaja Foglio. They look amazing, but God damn it, was she so chatty? And I end up getting to the 4th round of the trial late, and I get a game loss. And I'm a little miffed, but whatever. It's a free tournament. I 3-0'd, so I get some free tickets too. And I find out I'm against Carnforge, and I turned 3 Lattice Lock this guy, and he was so pissed off and sideboarded against me, thinking that I was also Carnforge. And then
Did you just have like 3 soul lands?
yeah, I went Ancient Tomb, City of Traders, City of Traders.
You know what though? Deserved.
I also had a Painter Servant in my hand, and I drew the second City of Traders. on my third turn. But yeah, I played Ancient Tomb, and I kept maybe I didn't have a painter, but I played the Ancient Tomb, and he very clearly indicated that he was Karn Forge, and I was like, oh sweet, turn two Karn, let's go. Um, Lost a really close second game, but because I picked up the game loss for being late, that's the end of the match. My opponent did entertain me. We played a third game, and I won a close one, so I'm going to count it as a win, 2-1 against Karn Forge.
Yep.
And then on Friday, I played another qualifier after I finished getting my signatures. I 2-0'd Mono Black Saga Storm, and then I just got absolutely savaged by Echo of Eons Burning Wish Storm. I'm not exactly sure what kind of storm deck that is, if it's Tess or Ant or whatever. Played Echo of Eons, he played Burning Wish, he played Tendrils. He turn one me both games.
Brutal.
And then I went into EW. Round one, I was playing against Reanimator, and I actually had them under control with a bridge and a Blood Moon, but they had stuck a Tomio, ultimated it, found Brazen Borrower, killed me. Uh, Basically, the same thing happened game two. I had them locked out under a bridge, and they eventually were able to get a Tomio. I was not able to kill it through their protection. They ultimated it, and I died. Round two, I played against the Agatha's Soul Cauldron Painter. I don't know if he had Devourer or not. It was 2-0 victory over him. I had Goblin Welders. He didn't. Round three, I played against Blue Black Tempo. It was a 2-1. I Blood Mooned him in game one. He was not expecting it. Game two, he got me by opening up on triple Netherglyphs. And then game three, I bridged and Blood Mooned him. Then round four, I played against Blue Red Delver. This was my first salty opponent. He was not mean. He was not a jerk or a dick, but he was very curt. I think maybe he was hungry. He was playing with actual factual Delver. It
The
was
good one,
pretty
yeah.
easy. I comboed him on like turn four, and on game two, I furied him and he conceded when I killed three of his creatures.
You love to see it.
Um, Love to see it.
Again,
Round
tempo is like
five,
just tempo is such a good matchup for Painter, right? Like the way that the deck
uh,
is currently configured right now, losing Bolt is kind of tough. The Izzet Cutter deck is a
yes,
little worse, but it's still pretty favorable.
yeah, not having the bolts makes it a little harder, but I think it's still positive.
Yeah.
Round five, I played against Karn Forge. I 2-1'd him. The first game was one of the best games I played the entire tournament. He was able to ultimate a Tezzeret. We both had Karn. He wished for a Pithing Needle and named Karn. I had him locked under Bridge, Moon, and Karn. His Tezzeret ultimate was worthless. He had to kill his Tezzeret to do it. And then I eventually drew into Pyroblasts and took out his Karn and then his Pithing Needle, and then I comboed him. Round six, I played against Blue Black Tempo. 0-2 got me. I don't think I was really ever in the game. Round seven, I played against Moon Stompy. I don't really remember much about this other than bridges were good and moons were terrible. Round eight, I played against Grixis Control. I went 1-2 against him.
I also played against Thomas,
Really,
by the way, and I will go into our match
yeah,
because it was a real treat.
really cool guy. All three of the games were super close. And I was on the play. I won the die roll, so it's not like I could have won if I were on the die roll. Grixis Control, nightmare matchup for us. And then my last round of the event was against Reanimator. I 2-0'd them. I believe my opponent was a little new to Reanimator and more fatigued than I was. Went home, ate dinner, got a good night's sleep, woke up at 6:30, went back to the hall, played against Colorless Eldrazi. I crushed him game one. Game two, no, he crushed me game one. I crushed him game two. And then game three on the play, I thought I won and that I was gonna be 7-3. Turn one painter, turn off all the stuff, right? Nope, he's gonna dismember me. And then on his turn two, he kills me with double Fleshraker.
Boah.
Yeah, indeed. Round 11, no opponent. Easiest match of the
You
weekend.
sat next to me. You watched me play
I
against.
did.
Oh, by the way, do you think I made any play mistakes that game? It was a
I did
weird
not
one.
see anything.
All right, all right,
Yeah, you were playing against Jeskai Wizards, and I actually thought that you were going to lose the match. I walked away to go to the bathroom. You finished it. You had won.
dude. I can't.
So you'll have to
I
fill me
think
in
we.
on the end of
Yeah,
it.
yeah. I will. I will. Yeah. Okay. Never mind then. Carry
But
on.
I walked away and I was like, oh, he is not going to win this. Like it was late in game one, and
Oh yeah,
think your opponent won game one
they did. Yeah.
after like 20 turns or something.
Oh yeah.
Um, so no opponent for me round 11. Round 12, I played against Reanimator. I 2-1 them. I beat them with bridges in the games that I won. Uh, round 13, I played against a really nice guy. He was playing the blue-white Quantum Riddler Felia dog deck. I never stood a chance. I was never in this matchup.
It's a tough one
Played
actually.
a,
What's weird is like
it is
normally
a
Tundra decks are like so like you're happy to play Tundra all day, but the Felia Blink decks are like just totally different axis of attack, and like not having Lightning Bolt to stop the dog from like it's tough. It's tough.
Yep. This is a hole in the design of our deck for sure. It's
Yep.
this blue-white Felia deck. And then round 14, I played against Nadu for the first time. It was breakfast. I savaged this guy. He was not super friendly. Maybe he was tired. He wasn't rude, but he was not friendly. Game one, he ended up calling a judge on me because I targeted his Urza Saga with a Pyroblast while Painter Servant was in play. He did not believe that I could do that. Judge came over and said not only could I do it, but because I had Painter in play, the Urza Saga would die. Pretty cool.
That judge is
Game
a
two,
big
I
chiller.
blood big chiller. Oh, yeah, you can target it, and he has a Painter Servant in play, so that card, I assume it's blue from the color marker. Yeah, it will be destroyed. Game two, I turned two Blood Mooned him, and I played double Disruptor Flute on his combo pieces. He had a white and a blue mana, never had green for his Nadu. He had three of them in his hand at the end of the game. And then round 15, I was playing against Moonstompy again. Both of us were pretty happy and very tired and beat. He played pretty poorly. I played pretty poorly. I chalice checked him in game one for a Pithing Needle, which he let resolve after talking about how cool his Chalice of the Void was because it was an invention. But I needed an artifact in play so I could start chaos defiling him with my Goblin Welder. He let it resolve. The defiling started. Game two, he killed me with I mulliganed 2-4 in game two, and he killed me with his
Yeah.
bombardiers. And then game three, we played a really close game, but I had double Ancient Tomb, and I was a little too gun shy to kill a Bombardiers with my Fury, pitching a Chaos Defiler or a Goblin Engineer, and I took an extra 4 or 6 damage that maybe I didn't need to. And then the Ancient Tombs killed me the turn before I could kill him. He got a Pyrogoyf to finish me off the turn before I could kill him. And I ended up in 9-6. With the with the trial rounds that I played, that was another 5-1. That would put me at 14-7 for the weekend with this list against Eternal Weekend deck.
It's a strong showing.
I was very pleased. I went positive. I made day two. My goals were to make day two and be positive at the end of the event. If I could have won, or if I had maybe taken some losses a little later in the event, I would have cashed, and then I'd have a little check in the picture frame behind me. But I'm pretty happy with how I played for the most part, except for round 15. I really feel like we nailed the metagame. Looking through my list of opponents, like I played against Reanimator 3 times. I 2-1 them. I played against Karn 2 times. I 2-0'd them. I played against Moon Stompy 3 times. I 2-1 them. I crushed the Nadu deck the only time I played it. I split with Blue Black Tempo. And then I lost two really bad matchups to Blue White Control and Grixis Control. And yeah, that's the That's the event.
It's a good recap. And yeah, I think the matchups that you built your deck to beat, you beat, and you did it handedly. And it's one of those things where it's like the called shot, you know? Like I'm okay losing certain things. Again, Magic is all just a game of give and take, right? Where if you're not you have to be okay losing certain things because it's a 1 or 2% deck. You know, like whatever that blue-white Velia, Blink, Quantum Riddler deck is, that deck's a nothing deck. And
Yeah, there's
it's
probably 7 of it in the whole event.
I'll tell you how many. I have the thing open right now. Unknown deck 10. Interesting. No, I but
Well, I know. Josh White Pokemokey played it, and he went like five
yes.
four and didn't make day two.
Yeah, exactly. And so I actually don't know if it's Beanstalk. It wasn't Beanstalk. It was just straight blue white, eh?
Yeah,
So anyway, I don't know if it's what it would be classified as. Poor
probably
Bomberman.
other.
Yeah, probably unknown deck.
Or Bomberman.
Poor Bomberman went 1-5. The fact that they have a specific archetype for that is unbelievable. I feel bad for that one Bomberman guy because I'm a Bomberman player at heart, and I love that deck. And
Well, I just finished my Lion's Eye Diamond, so I'm definitely going to try some Bomberman Jank and
you
Heaven
should hit me up for a
sometime.
deck list because I've been working on one.
Okay,
So hopefully
I
a
will.
ban or two happens and people, teeter off on the null rods. But yeah. Anyway, so I'll go through my recap. I finished 10-5. Round 1, I played against Mono Black Helm. So he had like ley lines, Dothies. Again, it's kind of like a metagame deck. I think it's good. I won game 1 after blood mooning him when he had Eumidian Hatchery and Ancient Tomb and couldn't cast any spells. And then he won game 2 when he Karned me. And then game 3, I had Karn in play. He had Yggdrasil, and I was like, okay, interesting. You cannot activate that because I have a Karn in play. And eventually I just killed him. So that was like that was my first win on the weekend because you stomped me in the first chance qualifier. I lost another one, and I O2'd Vintage playing Dredge. So I was like 0-4 or 0-5 going into this main event and was like, well, if I don't win, luckily it's relatively easy to... I'm not going to make that joke.
Yeah, you got all the bad draws out before the main event.
That's exactly it. And so my round 2 opponent, his name is James. He was playing a weird Omniscience Doomsday deck, and new bad matchup unlocked. He had Emrakul main. He had Sheldock Isle piles. He had made no past Doomsday piles. he rinsed me in 2. I think I played against a guy named Jason Song, I think. He's playing Glimpse Elves, and I lost. I got stomped by Glimpse Elves. At one point, he just like Allosaurus Shepherd and like hoofed me for like 70 damage or something. Like it was like rough. And it's one of those like, this is where I wish I had Lightning Bolt in the main, but c'est la vie. And then game 2, I mulliganed to like 5 and just like my hand is good enough that if he's kind of slow, whatever. I got like hoofed on 3. So I lost that 0-2. And then I started getting into apparently the 1-2 bracket is where all the Cephalid breakfast players are, because I stomped breakfast in 2 thanks to the power of Blood Moon. Then I played a really close matchup against a guy named Mason on Corey Steelcutter. Came down to pretty much like me being dead to a bolt or 2 and him being dead to like an 8/8 construct. But if at any point he found Meltdown, I was just turbo dead. So I won that in 2. Then I played against a guy named Charlie on Mystic Forge. Game 1, we're going back to the clock equity issue where he was taking enough game actions to not warrant slow play, but I needed to be like, hey man, I'm not trying to be a dick here, but your deck is inherently slow. I need you to play faster. There is 30 minutes left after game 1, and I'm not expecting it, if it goes to 3, for us to finish in time, so please play faster. And he kind of, hemming and hawing, whatever. Game 1, I lost. Game 2, I played a turn 2 Karn and just coding him. Game 3, he puts a ley line in play. We go back and forth a bunch. I have Ensnaring Bridge. He has a Karn. I have a Karn. I have a Disruptor Flute on the 1 ring. I down tick my Karn and go and get Steel Wrecking Ball. I Steel Wrecking Ball his like 8/8 construct to start attacking his Karn. And then I at that point I realized it's in exile and I can just continue to steal Wrecking Ball him over and over and over again. And he just saw the writing on the wall and picked it up. But I was like, I'll get my Spider-Man card and kind of did the, ooh, I'm going to reach into it and grab the Spider-Man card. And like his deck was like beautiful. Like he had like foil Grim Monoliths and like a 7th edition foil Ensnaring Bridge. I'm like, I'm going to take my shitty 25-cent Universes Beyond card and blow up your $700 Ensnaring Bridge. Boom!
That I sharpied.
Just out of hatred for Universes
to
Beyond.
To make it so that there's no Spider-Man.
Yeah, exactly. And like no set symbol, no Spider-Man. It's good. So,
I gotta say, I am very pleased that I was able to play Spider-Man cards in Eternal Weekend.
If you're happy, again, if it makes you happy, yeah, you worked in a comic book store for like 10 years or whatever, so.
Yeah, I'm wearing a Magneto shirt and a Deadpool robe right now.
There you go. Very red, on brand. So I got him in 2. I think I played against a guy named Chad. He was on Breakfast. I got him in 3 games. Again, Blood Moon, good. Then I played Robert on Breakfast again. So what's interesting is I played against Wyatt and I played against Chad on Breakfast, and both guys took out their combo against Painter. And so this is where we kind of talk about like levels, right? Where do I think my opponent is going to take out their combo knowing that I have like main deck Soul Guide Lantern. Like I have ways to fight the combo, but then I'm just dead to other things. And it's kind of like the levels that everyone talks about. Like, do I think that my opponent thinks that I'm the guy to think he's going to board out the combo, yada, yada, yada. He actually ended up keeping the combo in. We went to 3. The game was basically going to time, and it came down to the wire of like, he cast Memory's Journey. I macabre. Like, he was casting Memory's Journey to put 3 cards on top so he didn't draw his deck and kill himself. And I macabre and then wasn't able to buy 2 or 3 turns before dying. It was a really sick game. Lost that one in 3. And then I played against, for round 9, I played against this guy named Nathan, who was on Grixis Delver, and he got screwed. Just like mana flooded super hard. Didn't find any creatures. Feel bad for the guy. He got stomped in 2, and it's one of those, like, it didn't even feel good. Like, you know, I made day 2 at that point at 6-3, but, like, it wasn't a good game. And typically, like, Grixis Delver is the kind of deck that would put up a good game because they have, like, Molten Collapse and shit. And, like, it's a lot
it can be really scary.
It can be, like, close, right? So, 6-3, I did the same thing as you. Went out for dinner with my buddy Derek. We went and got some awesome bao. I got like crab meat and pork bao, like steam buns and like soup dumplings. It was fantastic. And then I went back to the hotel, woke up the next morning, walked the 35 minutes to the venue because, you know, Steelers and Pirates game or Penguins or whatever it was. I don't know. 2 sports events. All the hotels were gone and like super expensive. So we had to book one that was like a 40-minute walk away. Round 10, I get queued against Thomas. I think his name was like Gansman. And it went. Yeah. I was standing next to you, and you're like, "Oh, he's on Grixis Control," and I was like, "Okay, cool. Thanks for the heads up." Fuck, this is a really bad matchup. Like they have Call Against Command, they have Snapcaster Mage for Call Against Command, they got Strix, they got everything, they got Bolts. It's like a nightmare matchup. I watched poor Adam Algart lose to James Kazao in in like the main event, I think, and I've lost to James like 10 times on Magic Online, and I've beat him like once. Like, it's one of those things where it's just such a bad matchup, and they have all the cards all the time. And every time I'm in one of his videos, all my friends send me the link, and they're like, "Oh, look at you, just get fucking shit stomped by James Kazao again." So thank you for that, Teddy. Appreciate it. But this
good old Teddy.
Yeah. So this Thomas guy. He's like an old school gamer, and what's fun about people who are old school is like they kind of appreciate the shit talking element of Magic, and like it's kind of like a lost art, you know. Like they're now there's not really a whole lot of that anymore, and like I like the subtle mind games. I like I told him like flat out, I'm like, "Man, I know what you're on," and he's like, "Oh, how do you know what I'm on?" I'm like, if I gave away all my secrets, man, like come on. So we were just talking trash the whole time, and he got me in 2. Wasn't even close. But the level of the subtle shit talking that this Thomas guy did was fantastic. So like he had triple bolt for like my first turn painter servant, my next turn engineer, my third turn like something else. He's got bolt. And then when he goes and delves Murktide, he's like, I'm gonna delve Murktide. You may remember these 3 lightning bolts, like just like subtle things like that, right? And eventually I've like tapped my ancient tomb enough times that like I'm down to like a low life total. I'm at like 5. And then he's like, call against command, 2 damage to you. I'll shatter your grindstone. And then just like from the top rope, just like the 4th lightning bolt, like slow puts it in front of my face. And it's just like, bolt you, my friend. And I was like, all right, yeah, you fucking got me, dude. So we chatted for a bit. It was good. And then after that, I was sitting next to you, round 11. I played against Emily on Jeskai Wizards, and she was a great opponent. She made the Family Guy. The mystery box could be anything. It could even be a boat joke. Again, the 4th time I heard that joke that weekend, which is insane. Game 1, I got 4th for like 5, and I was still in it for way too long, and she had the Monarch, and things were looking bad. And then game 2, after like taking 30 minutes left on the clock, I'm like, all right, we should play fast. I just jammed a turn 2 Karn, go get liquid metal coating.
Liquid.
Yep. And then start working on the lands, and then that game was over. And then I did the exact same thing game 3. But I think she made a punt where she could have swords to my painter and then consigned my Karn, but she consigned my painter instead and opted to keep swords.
Ooh.
And then didn't have a counterspell for Karn. And I was like, okay, yep, well, c'est la vie. I'm pretty sure that Emily also won 4 Badlands in the High Roller event the day before. So
Yes, I believe she said that.
So that's
because she
sick.
traded him for a Hatsu Mikune
yes.
Snapcaster Mage.
Exactly. So round 12. This is I'm playing against top 4 competitor last year, Max Darish, and he completely crashed out on me. I crushed him in 2. I don't want to get into the details. It was an extremely unpleasant opponent. He is a Pro Tour player. He should be conducting himself better than how he conducted himself. And it's a shame that players like that, are doing the things that they're doing. But I crushed him in 2. Wasn't even close. Moving on. I played Jake on Nadu midrange, who sat next to me during the epic crash out of the previous round. And Jake was like, oh boy, I know what you're on, you know what I'm on, because, everyone 5 tables down in every direction to the left and the right knew what happened last round. We played a fantastic game, and it was just a great game. He was on Nadu midrange, came down to the wire. I did a terrible play and didn't get punished for it, such is life, and won the match. That was relatively good. So at this point, I am 5-1 versus Breakfast and Nadu combined. So the Blood Moon's main, it's good enough to consistently, beyond, I'm convinced. And I've since played a few leagues on Magic Online and a 4-1 a couple leagues. And I'm convinced that, you have a fantastic Nadu matchup.
It's the Blood Moons.
It is the Blood Moons. The Blood Moons.
And the flutes. And the flutes in the sideboard.
And the flutes, 100%. And having the main deck needle so that you always have, you're not just, stone cold dead,
Mm-hmm.
Round 14. At this point, I am X4. And so, X4 is still very live for top 32 prizing. I have 2 rounds left. I play against a gentleman named Taryn, and he's on lands, and he plays... I get him game 1 with Blood Moon and Ensnaring Bridge. And from there, game 2, he makes a really fast 20-20 before I can pretty much do anything. I think he Force of Vigors me as well to get rid of my Ensnaring Bridge. And then game 3, I unfortunately mulligan to 5 on the play. Have a turn 1 Blood Moon off of Lotus Petal Cydia Traders. And we have Mountain and Mountain. So I use everything on just a turn 1 Blood Moon. Which I'm not going to take 4 on that. And then I proceeded to draw 4 land in a row. And had it have been Disruptor Flute, I would have named Beseju. Oh, and he had Mox Diamond too, which is the exact counter to what I was going on.
Blood Moon.
Yep, exactly. And so he was able to crop rot for Dark Depths and then force a Vigor, blow my shit up, make a 20/20, kill me. So whatever. C'est la vie. At that point, I'm X5. I'm playing for Min Cash, and I play against Bosch and Roll in the finals. Brian is a fantastic opponent. I knew he was on blue-black tempo, and I knew that I couldn't lose. Because that's literally what the deck is configured to do. I know that you lost to it. You probably just got varianced super hard, and I'm a better gamer than you, and had to...
True story.
The stats don't lie, baby. The stats do not lie.
That's right.
But the games weren't particularly close. I just kept really strong hands, and I think he did a recap. Game 1, I just quick fire salvo, Blood Moon, fire again on turn 3 or 4. Get ya. And then game 2, he thought seizes me. He sees Painter, Grindstone, Simian Spirit Guide, Goblin Engineer, Ancient Tomb, Mountain, and another unknown. In like 6 ways to tomorrow, he's dead. He takes the Painter's Servant, which is probably the correct call because now I need to play Engineer, and if he draws Consign or something. Anyway, it just worked out that like I kind of took the long way home and built up I engineered for Ensnaring Bridge and like made some constructs, and I'm like, I can just get him whenever. Like I'm not too concerned about it. And so did that. Finished 90th, 10-5. The last time I played Eternal Weekend 90th. was 2019, and I played Vintage, and I finished 27th. And do you know what they paid?
Ooh.
Do you know what they paid in
Nothing.
2019?
Nothing.
Yeah, they paid out to top 24 in 2019.
Oh.
So from going from 02 to
no promos either.
No promos, no nothing. So going from 02 to rattling back 7 wins in a row to finish the day 7-2, and you get nothing is definitely feels bad, but it's good to come back this go around and be like, all right, there's something here. I was a win away from top 32 up until the 13th round or 14th round, So my car mate, like I said, Kieran McDuff, he top 32'd, and he got his tendrils and like a couple $100 USD. Cool, he's killing it. That tendrils is selling for a lot right now, so hopefully you can turn that into dual lands. And yeah, that was pretty much my tournament. Feels good to cash. Feels good to beat some people along the way. Feels really good to beat all the skilled players who I played. All of my matchups were they were all interesting. And nothing was freer than the Blood Moon wins, and some of the wins that I had, it's either I'm getting demolished or I'm crushing. There's no in between. So it's kind of similar to like Red Stompy, right? Where you're just like, you got Blood Mooned on turn 1 or 2, and the game was over when that Blood Moon resolved. The 5 other turns where I was, farting around doing whatever, just like setting stuff up, putting welders in play, and like go and get Dragon Engine. Like it doesn't matter. That game is over. I did have a few times where I just told at one point I had 3 Ensnaring Bridges in play and a Blood Moon versus like Nadu, and they were just like, I'm like, you should concede. Like your deck does require a ton of time. Like 104.3A, a player can concede at any time. I encourage you to do so because eventually I'll find Grindstone, but just like this game is over, dude. Like, and so he did, which is cool. So looking at that's my tournament. I'm happy with the result. Looking at the numbers though, you have Red Painter, very much right down the middle. We had 28 players playing Red Painter. There was 6 players playing Blue Painter. Again, smaller sample size, but they went 29 and 26, while the Red Painter players went 121 and 119. So pretty much right down the middle. I think the majority of people that I talked to registered the Prison Painter deck.
Yeah, there were a lot of us in Prison Painter from the Discord that were playing in the event.
I know Boopsy, Real Gamer, Adam Algart. I think the Eric Farmer deck was a Soul Cauldron deck. I know Ben played a Soul Cauldron deck, and Kemper Pogue finished top 16 with a Soul Cauldron deck. But other than that, yeah, there was a lot of Prison players that converted to day 2.
And the 2 of us, which are the most important Prison players.
Right. Yeah, of course. We wouldn't have a podcast that we decided to make ourselves if we weren't the most important players.
That's right. We are the heroes of this story.
Very, very easy.
Well,
Very,
I guess
very easy.
Kannekin's the hero of the story.
He is the hero, actually. I want to meet this guy when I go to
He
Japan this
is.
year. Yeah. So, where do you think
Oh
the
my God.
natural evolution? Okay, yeah, go ahead.
Oh, I mean, you're just a tall dude, and Japanese players are historically not tall.
Right. I'm gonna have to like introduce myself on Twitter beforehand and be like, just look for the big tall guy who's probably playing Painter.
Uh,
Um, so Eternal Weekend, you were happy with the deck. Where do you think the Painter deck goes from here? I notice you have actual Rakdos Painter here. So you've been working in the
yeah.
Discord on this Thoughtseize, Barogoyf, Shieldred's Edict deck.
Well, so I was chatting in the Discord, and I mean, I play paper only. I don't play Mitgo, so I rely on a lot of other people to, stress
Do your
test
bidding for
ideas.
you, yeah.
Yeah, right. Like I am not out here. I am not out here innovating the format. I am out here finding deck lists and tuning them for my metagame.
Right, fair enough, fair enough.
Um, but like Thoughtseize is probably the best card in the format right now. Baragwayf is probably the best creature in the format, and we were talking in the Discord, and I was like, why don't we try Thoughtseize? And then I thought, like, if I'm gonna, try to cook something up, I want it to be an actual Rakdos deck and not just, oh, it has a couple of black pips for Thoughtseize or for Bear or just for Baragwayf. So, like, I tried to build an actual black deck. Is this thing any good? I don't know. I don't see it beating Forge. I don't think Baragwayf is going to be able to beat Forge. It doesn't have the Blood Moons to beat the Natu decks.
You are
Honestly, I don't
probably
think.
better versus Tempo, though, for sure, especially like the Is It Cutter deck.
Yes, and I'm probably great against Reanimate too with the Thought Seasons and the multiple Nile spell bombs,
And
right?
Mono Red Prison. So what's interesting is you're kind of taking like a matchup spread of the Prison Painter and you're like inverting it.
Yeah. But I'm inverting it, unfortunately, to the decks that are not the ones that are at the top of the metagame. It
Right. Yeah,
is
yeah, yeah.
Nadu, Forge, and Reanimator at the top of the metagame.
Yep.
And so to throw away the Nadu and the Forge matchup to shore up the tempo and the Moon Stompy seems bad.
Seems like a local metagame call,
Honestly,
if anything.
it seems like a local metagame call. Honestly, I think on the big stage, Painter is going to be the Agatha Soul Cauldron and or this Prison Painter or the Shortcake version, without very many changes, unless there are some significant changes to the format. And I'm talking like two or three bands changes to the format.
I am hoping for like 5. I would love to see
I,
something hit from the Entomb Reanimate package, like one of those 2 cards. I don't really care. I would like to see Tameo go. I would like to see the One Ring go. I would like to see Kozilek's Command go, and I would like to see Nadu go. That's obviously like a huge wish, and it would be amazing to get that. But like, at this point, we are so many bans behind schedule that like once you ban all of those, I think the most like the next de facto thing then becomes Orcish Bowmaster and like Up the Beanstalk or something. And you
well,
know,
those cards aren't bannable though.
yeah, but it's one of those like just unban Deathrite and see what happens is ultimately what I want as the Jund guy.
I I did buy a playset of Deathrite Shamans like 4 months ago, right before the last Legacy announced or the last ban announcement.
Mm-hmm.
My Splinter Twins eventually got unbanned. I had been sitting on those, took them out for a 3-0 at Modern the day that they got unbanned. It was sweet.
Beautiful.
Um, I guess we're talking about ban, but I guess I'm done with Tomio. I lost 2 matches to Tomio alone, and I know that the card is good, but like I am a deck with a fast combo and multiple pyroblasts in it, and I just single-handedly lost to Tomio multiple games.
Just blue pip, you're
Um,
dead.
I am ready for something from Forge to go. I kind of want it to be Kozilek's Command because I think that card
Mo-
does too much.
yeah, modal cards should not scale. Full stop.
And it's
what
a
you
colorless deck. It should not be able to answer every kind of permanent type and zone.
I agree. I agree entirely.
Um, but the ring is probably more problematic. What I would honestly like is for Tomio to get banned, for Kozilek's Command to get banned, for Nadu to get banned for time reasons, not for power level, because it's not bannable on power
Not
level,
bannable on power
but it
level.
is. But it has the same problem as Sensei's Divining Top, right? It's going to
100%.
be
It's
banned
clock
because
equity,
of
man. Yeah.
tournament logistics. And then I want them to unban Mana Drain
Cool.
temporarily,
Cool. Yep.
and then ban the One Ring once it's a problem.
Sure. Okay.
Um,
I like
I would
unbanning
like
mana drain.
blue. I would like blue base control to have a reason to exist. Mana drain into the One Ring is a very valid reason for blue base control, like actual control, to exist. And then mana drain and the One Ring are probably problematic, but the One Ring's time is numbered anyway. So let's get mana drain into people's hands and then ban the One Ring, and then they can figure out how to make mana drain good.
Yeah, and then reprint the ever living fuck out of mana drain more than it already is
I
because
mean,
it's like a
it's like
$40 card rate.
$25, right?
Yeah, maybe in like in US dollars. But that being said,
Yeah.
it'll turn into a $200 card overnight, and that's
Yeah,
kind of annoying.
on band, I could see it hit like $70.
Yeah. So, okay, that's cool. I like it. It's I hope that they make some changes. The big thing for me, I've got Eternal Weekend Japan in a month and a half, effectively, and there's a BNR between then and now. So like, I need to bring all of my painter cards, and in the event that they make some drastic changes, I'll be frantically messaging the Discord on a 12-hour time difference, being like, "All right, boys, what's good here?" Like,
When are you going to Japan? How early are you going? Because
November
it's the
28th.
ban announcement.
Yeah,
Oh, the ban announcement's the 10th. You don't have to bring all your cards with you.
it is the 10th, but things change. Things change, and then people will be like again, Canacan built this list like a week and a half before the Eternal Weekend, so I'm gonna be there
True story.
2 weeks before Eternal Weekend.
So, no ban changes. What are you playing?
Probably rocking the almost an identical 75. I cut the lattice, and I think I play a fourth flute or second
Oh,
needle
you want the fourth flute.
or second needle.
Or second needle. So I will say that if you decide to run this back, I missed having something like a braid.
Sure, I am a big Abrade fan. Big Abrade
I
fan.
don't think I want Lightning Bolt because of Chalice of the Void,
Yep.
but I do think a braid would be good.
Yeah. A braid I could see in like the. It's hard because you don't want to cut Void Mirror because it is instrumental in winning versus so many bullshit decks, right?
No, I mean I did lattice lock people. I never actually got to do the Spider-Man Steel Wrecking Ball thing.
You
So I
think?
think that like those two slots are kind of flex slots in the
Yep.
sideboard.
Yep.
And the Furies are a package. Either they're Furies or they're something else.
Pyrokinesis. I know that we were talking about the issue with
I was talking about
Pyrokinesis. Yep. I think
Pyrokinesis.
that card is quite good. But it has. Well, we can talk about the flaws of that card. It doesn't hit Karn or like Planeswalkers in
Nope.
general. Where Fury does hit Planeswalkers. They're sometimes Fury just hard casting for 5 is the best attacker, best blocker on the board at any given point. If you can hard cast it versus like is it Cutter, it's game over, man. Game over, man. Game over.
Game over. However, Pyrokinesis is an instant, so
Yep.
you can nail the Nomads with the Nadu on the stack.
Yep.
You can nail the Bombardiers before they get to attack and throw the One Ring at you afterwards.
Also very true. Yep.
You can hit a Tomio in response to a Brainstorm trigger.
Also true. Yep.
The not hitting Karn, I think, is the biggest roadblock because Forge is really a tough matchup, and if there's no changes, Forge is probably the best deck in the format. I think it can overtake Reanimator.
I think it can too, and the only thing holding it back is people have blue duels and people don't necessarily have X amount of dollars into like Grim Monoliths and other very expensive cards. And like
Uh, Yeah,
Like I think
Grim
it.
Monolith is like $400 each now.
Yeah, dude, it's one of those things where like I would rather own blue duels than own the best busted artifact deck, knowing that they should hopefully take a heavy hand with the banning that comes out in
Hmm.
2.5 weeks or whatever it is.
Yeah, the problem is though is that that banning is coming 2.5 weeks before your Eternal Weekend in Italy, and then another like month before the Japanese Eternal
I think
Weekend.
it's the next weekend is.
Oh, it's the next
It's
weekend.
literally like they ban on the Monday and then you have 4 days to figure out your deck for Eternal Weekend Europe.
No, because they changed the date. They moved it down to November 10th from November 24th. It was November 24th, and then Eternal Weekend Italy was the 27th. But because of Vivi Cauldron wrecking
Oh,
Standard,
yeah. Okay, yeah. You are correct. You are
they
correct.
decided to move the date down to the 10th. So you have like 2 weeks, but I still don't think they're going to make any changes that close to the Eternal Weekends. I think we're stuck with this format until January.
So yeah, then I'm running that shit back. Easy. Maybe make 2 card changes in the sideboard. Continue to play against random tempo decks and really dial in that matchup. Just play more, play more, play more. Those are the ones that felt particularly
Yep.
close. And so yeah. Anyway, that's kind of my game plan. George, can you believe that we've been talking for 1 hour 35 minutes about Painter?
Yeah. My children know how it works, remember?
Right. Yeah. Yeah. Fair enough. Fair enough. So I think that's gonna be it. I'll If you have any last thoughts other than that, we can make this a somewhat regular thing. I note that I put the date so that we can talk about, you can go back and look at this and Painter throughout time
Yeah.
because, there's I
We can
really
figure
like.
out what's changed since the last time.
Yeah, exactly. I also really like the format. Shout out to Akalith and XJ Cloud. They do like a State of the Noodle podcast where it's like I think it's like semi-annually. They do like a just checking in on what D&T's been up to, and they do like a 2-hour stream where they just kind of shoot the shit. They answer questions. They talk about what decks are good, which decks are bad, the best way to build D&T, why you need to build D&T this way, why the One Ring is bullshit, and all these other things that every single player except Mystic Forge players agree on. So it would be cool to do this somewhat regularly. Maybe check in. After Christmas or something, if there's any crazy things, we can talk about any innovations that have happened in the Painter deck. And yeah, it's just something to do because we like Painter. That's it. We like
Yeah.
Painter.
Love Painter.
Couple
Love
of
Painter.
Painter boys.
Uh, I guess I just want to, say thanks to the Discord, I guess, right? There is a wonderful resource for someone who does not have the time to grind Magic like they used to.
Yeah, dude,
Just the group
100%.
of like how many thousand people are in the Discord? I feel like it's 2 or 3 thousand people, and there's like actively dozens of people talking about Painter every week.
Yep.
All different kinds of stripe.
Yeah, and like I don't even
So
read the blue channel. I don't waste my time with. No, I'm kidding. I do kind of check in and go like, "Oh, what's going on here?" But there are so many people who are dedicating a bunch of time and effort into testing this cool fringe ass archetype that makes up 2% of the legacy metagame. Who are constantly tweaking, changing numbers. No, I think you should play this. No, you shouldn't play that. George, you're bad. Drake, you're bad. Yada yada,
I'm gonna
whatever
play
it
my
may
draft
be.
chaff.
I'm gonna play my melded mock sites. God damn it, and nothing
That's
is gonna
right.
stop me. But
I'm
you
gonna
know
play
what?
my Mishra's research desk.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, someone's got to do it, and it's cool that there's
and,
just
and it's
a
us.
yeah, and it's cool that there's just a dedicated community to people who are giving a shit and fighting the good fight on this very very fringe thing. Like
That's right. I mean, we've already got Karns and Ancient Tombs and Urza Sagas. We could just be playing that
you
fucking
could just be the bad guy,
dumbass deck.
but you're
Yeah,
not.
but no, instead we're the good guy.
We're the good guy, and I like to keep it that way. So anyway, on that note, thank you. This is episode 1. Drake George signing off.